Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Five Questions with the Paulists. It's always great to go to my hometown, New York City, and right there from St. Paul the Apostle, longtime lector and parishioner Thomas Davis is joining us. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike, and I'm glad to be here with you today. Of course, I miss you here in New York, but this will do for now.
That's great. Let's get right into it. Question one. What's one piece of scripture that gives you comfort that you just love to proclaim as a lector?
One of my favorite scriptures that I can't ever get enough of doing or hearing is during the Easter Vigil ceremony, which is Isaiah 55. I love Absolutely love it. I love it when it's sung. I love it when I do it. It just is a reading because it's about God's words and it's about all who are thirsty, all who are hunger. And when we were at church, that's what we come to do. We sit up under the word each and every Sunday to hear God's words. So that's one that I don't know. I get chills anytime I hear it or do it. It's just a real feel good and a great comfort for me.
That's great. One of my favorites too. And question two, what's a mass or service during the course of the year that's your favorite?
Easter Vigil. Easter Vigil. I can never get enough of Easter Vigil. I'm always there. Because it's the beginning of the church. It's so special. I'm from the South, so back in the day, we would actually start out in the back of the church outside, and people would build big fires. Not like when I came to the city and someone just had like a little pit, but I still get excited about that. But I love the big fires, and everyone would get their candles and process into the church, and the church is dark, and you see the newness, you see the blessing, and it's dark, and you're hearing the words, and everything comes up. And one of my really favorites is it used to be RCIA, now it's OCIA, and I have to remember those particular things. But seeing people, especially this year at St. Paul, they had so many. It was just record number. But I'm always in tears because I was baptized when I don't remember. You know what I mean? I was like a kid, and most Catholics are baptized, they don't remember. But when you see these adults that have gone through the entire process for months after months after months, and sitting there taking this in and being baptized or being confirmed, it's their decision. It's not a parent's decision. It's not anyone else's decision, but it's their relationship with God. And I absolutely love that ceremony.
Awesome. It's one of my favorites also. We're really alike today, which is great. Question three. You've been friends with a lot of Paulists over the course of your time at St. Paul's. What's one indispensable quality or trait that you think it's desirable for a Paulist to have?
Yeah, with the Paulists, and I thought that was a great question to ask because what's drawn me to the Paulist community is that all of them are very much like a shepherd, right? And a shepherd should smell like his flock. A lot of times people don't understand that. And I say this, one of my, I forget how many number of parables there are, but one of my favorite parables is about the sheep and the shepherd and the 100 and him going back and getting that one as a parable. However, that's exactly what a Paulist is. Most of the Paulists are connected to the community as that shepherd. They're connected to the LGBT. They're connected to the Latin community. They're connected to the seniors or the young adults or whatever. They really try to make sure that they're a part of that. And I think that's probably the most important thing that a Paulist can bring to a new Paulist can come to the church with, because I feel like if you don't have that, and I've been to other churches and other communities that don't seem to they favor one over the other and they forget that part, but that's not what it's about. And the fact that the Paulists always remember that, I think anyone that's in seminary, that's the trait that they need to most importantly bring to the church when they're ordained.
For sure. Question four. If you had a friend or a family member who was thinking of leaving the church, what's something that you would say to them to give them hope?
Yeah, that question comes to me a lot because I have people that say, they're like, "You're religious?" Because I was like, "Yeah, because I pay the membership dues to be called that." I'm religious. I'm not spiritual. I'm religious. And so I I think that when people ask me about that question, one of the things that I try to acknowledge them first of all by asking like, why are you not happy about the church, right? And then I try to understand that and be very empathetic because there could be the smallest thing, right? And then I try to tell them my experiences of what the church does for me. Like when I come there on Sundays and it should last throughout the week, a feel good, or when I fellowship with other people that are like mind and particularly. And there have been times where I'm not in agreement with a particular pastor, but I still try to perhaps understand discernment and figure it out. And just like the government, not everything is always going to be in line. You're going to have some things that are not always on the same page. So by doing that, I then tell them like, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Can we maybe set up a time where I could introduce you to my priest and maybe he could guide you through some things that you might not have had guidance for before, and to give them hope in those particular things. But I try to tell my story of just how much the Catholic Church has been great to me. And a lot of times that does work, in many ways for them to open up and think about it, at least like listening to it again.
That's great. And question 5, it's a zombie apocalypse. And so who are 3 saints or holy people that you'd like fighting on your side against the zombies?
First, first and foremost, Archangel Michael. First and foremost, I need him there because I'm pretty sure that he'd be able to kick some butt, kick some butt, help me kick some butt there. And then the other one would be St. Thomas. I'm my namesake. A lot of people like, yeah, I always say the second Sunday of Easter is my favorite because that's basically when Thomas is talked about, and people fail to realize that he gives us faith, right? That's where faith really comes from, is from him. And I'd have him there to make sure that I have that. And then Saint Matthew, because my favorite gospel is Matthew. I mean, the Lord's Prayer comes from there. The faith of a mustard seed is so much good stuff there that I think he would be able to be a really good sidekick or a wingman to have in that event.
That's great. Those are 3 that I don't think anybody has ever come up with. So that's awesome. Or, well, St. Michael, but the other 2 I don't think I've heard before. So that's great. Yeah. So, Thomas, thanks so much for joining us. It's been so great having you and catching up. Thanks for all you do at St. Paul the Apostle as well. You've been such a big part of the community there.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
Of course. And this has been 5 Questions with the Paulist. I'm Deacon Mike Hayes. He's Thomas Davis, and we'll see you all again next time.